So I'm going to record this video. I don't know if I'll ever use it for anything. That being said, I'll call him a gentleman. I had a gentleman call me today while I was doing some work, so I put him on speakerphone. I was working on a ceiling fan from Homeadvisor, and I was like, as a getting off the ground business and everything like that, you're like, what's out there to help me get up and going? And this guy was talking to me. He honestly did. He talked to me for 40 minutes. He's one of the better salesmen, phone calling, trying to eventually get you to spend some money type of salesman that I've talked to in a long time. And I know one of the best. I grew up with him. He's one of my best friends growing up. And this guy, he had a response for everything. I was, tick, 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 giving him. It's for Homeadvisor, by the way. I don't know if I said that or not. And he, I was this far away, seconds away from credit card information going out, and essentially spending a few $100 to sign up with this company to generate leads for me that'll easily pay for itself for a whole year in a job or two. All this stuff sounds great. Sorry, bad habits. I gotta think this anyway. Something rang in my head, which basically was I needed to use two hands, and when someone calls you up and then wants you to spend money, you gotta make the things go off in your own head where it says no, hold on. If it's really that good a deal, then I'll call you. So I told him that I was getting mad at him, and I was like, I will call you back at the end of my day, because he's in the middle of my day. I'm talking to him while I'm doing another job, and excuse me. So I hung up. I promised him that I'd call him back, and I'm not going to now. I was so I went off and did the rest of my stuff for the day. I'm all right, I need to go do another quick rundown look at at Homeadvisor. What do the reviews say? Hit up a YouTube, a Google search and everything like that. Turns out that they're in a class action lawsuit under their old name, this is same old song and dance kind of stuff. This is one of the things that I really am trying to, I guess, I don't know. It's the antithesis of what I want to be as a human being, as a business owner, and everything like that. It's I want to be the reliable guy. These guys, short story with their business practices, they find someone like me that's relatively new on the web with providing home services. And they go everything from general contractor, $50,000 bathroom models to toilet fixing. And they're oh yeah, we got all these people that need work done. They come to our site, they fill out a fairly lengthy thing, which I've actually done. I just anyway. And after reading all these reviews, after I talked to the guy, because I was I had looked into this a little bit before, and the reviews were terrible. But this was a long time ago, and I was and there's a lot of things like this that have terrible reviews. And it's oh, it's a publicly traded company. It's got 230,000 active users. You couldn't, you could read a couple of terrible reviews, but the proof is in, how many people are using our site and everything like that, which is bullshit, to tell you the truth. If someone is selling contractors, or, people that essentially trade their skills and their time for money, and then they're will generate leads for you. They're, of course, focusing on people that are fairly new in the game, because if you're actually decent and reputable, then you don't need any of that kind of push, if you will. You don't need to be shelling out 20% of your job rate, which is like for me, because I do like small scale stuff. It'd be like shelling out 20% of what I would be getting on a job to get the job. And it's not like I'm charging minimum wage for myself here, but I do have expenses, and every time I get suckered into someone's advertising scheme or with this and the other thing, like, I know enough people that own businesses in my life to know that every time that you say yes to something like that, you're like, yeah, it sounds great. You'll end up at the end of the month owing everyone else money, because everyone comes calling, and everyone thinks just because you start a business that either you have money or that you want to, let's figure out a way to try to get your hard-earned money out of you. Anyway, so I read the reviews. I'm like, oh my god, this place, like, I so dodged a bullet, guys. I so dodged a bullet. This is a thing that I've come to kind of understand, and this is something I have to make this different and shorter and everything like that, but like, this is something like, if you are actually trying to find a person to do some work for you, using these services like Tackle's okay for certain things. There's one called Thumbtack, obviously Homeadvisor. Angie's List is now owned by Homeadvisor, the same company, and they say that they've pre-screened people and stuff like that. Like, I was like halfway down the road of a background check, and I was like, are you gonna ding my credit score? And they're like, no, this is just like, have you had a felony in the last year, or are you or filed for bankruptcy? So that's the equivalent of their background check, is those two things. So they want to make sure that you haven't committed a serious crime or serious financial crime, I guess, or whatever. Which, by the way, I would have passed with flying colors. But I didn't want them to be like, I have the best credit I've had my whole life, and I don't want someone to be pulling credit scores, because someone needs a toilet fixed. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? So I was asking. They wanted my whole They wanted my whole social security number. I ended up giving them the last 4 digits, which happens all the time, for like your bank account and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, in retrospect, I'm like, why did I even give them that? And they generate false leads. Terrible. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. I feel like I dodged a bullet, man. I'm really happy about that. This video is complete garbage. Maybe I'll watch it and get a train of thought back. But anyway, alright, bye.